All right, welcome out to the first episode of the Coach Chrisman weekly podcast. And so this is the first time we have Ingleside Mustangs head football coach and athletic director, Coach Chrisman, on the podcast. He'll be coming on every Thursday, and it'll be uploaded, and you can catch this interview with Coach every Friday morning for the remainder of the football season. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. We're getting a whole lot of rain, and thank goodness we have turf to play on. And we're even more fortunate to have this indoor to practice in when we have this crazy weather. So I'm in pretty good shape right now.
Yeah, that's the beauty of building an indoor facility, right? When it rains out there, yeah, and then they're having the turf, right? You don't have to be out there all muddy and all this other stuff. I
Right.
mean, some players like it, but it's always great to be able to practice indoor. And you guys have a beautiful facility there in Ingleside. I've been there, coach. So, like I said, Coach Chrisman is going to come on to this podcast for the remainder of the football season every Thursday. About 20, 25 minutes. We're just going to talk Ingleside Mustangs football. He's going to talk about the varsity, his junior and freshman teams, and even the middle school to see what's going on at that level as well. So, Coach, if you're ready to go, I've got the first question ready for you. And I just kind of want to ask you, I want to recap last week's game versus Carrizo Springs. You guys traveled up there, long drive up there from Ingleside, but you guys come back home with the win 69-28. And just some of the
Mm-hmm.
stats that stood out to me, Coach, your quarterback, Aidan Jakobsohn, 18 of 21 for 400 and I believe 26 yards, eight
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns. Nathan Ambrose, your running back, 8 carries, 97 yards, two TDs. Jordan Smith, your wide receiver, 3 receptions, 71 yards, two TDs. JC Smith, 6 receptions, 209 yards, five TDs. Solis, what's his first name, Coach? I don't have his name. Jay Solis?
Javier.
Javier Solis, 7 receptions, 132 yards, one TD. So the offense was just rolling versus Carrizo Springs, coach. I just want to get your thoughts on that game and just how well your team performed offensively and defensively.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it was a really good game for us. There were multiple breakouts, like you mentioned, after each one of those stat lines, and those guys have been doing a good job all year of producing like that. We thrive on the explosive play. I think we average 7 to 8 a game. JC having over 200 yards receiving, and I want to say in his last about 14 catches, 13 of those have been touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, something off the wall like that. And so he just doesn't really get tackled very often when the ball's in his hands. So when you have players like that who can make big plays, I mean, it equals a good night for us.
Absolutely. And you got some playmakers. You can run the ball. And the two times that I've seen Ingleside play, and of course, we're going to be there this Friday in Ingleside. So we'll live stream that game versus West Oso. So if you can't make it out to Mustang Stadium, definitely tune in. You can catch the game on the Gridiron 64 Facebook page. And definitely we'll have it live streamed there. But coach, yeah, I mean, you guys can run the ball offensively. You can pass the ball. I mean, it's everything's hitting on all cylinders. It's a very tough team. I think if you're a defense trying to slow this Ingleside offense, you're going to have some trouble because they just got playmakers all over the field. And we saw that once again here last week over Carrizo Springs. And of course, we'll get coach's thoughts here on the upcoming game here in just a bit. But coach, I want to talk about your quarterback, the guy that heads it all. It all starts with him, right? And that's Jakobsohn. He's just
Mm-hmm.
been great. I've watched him play, twice this year so far, and just the things, his footwork. He's very calm, he's poised, and he's very accurate. I saw
Yes.
him throw an interception at the start of the game against Rockport, and he
Mm-hmm.
had no face. He came right back, had a huge game. It just seems like he's just so calm. But the one thing or the one word that comes to mind when I saw him play is confidence. He just
Mm-hmm.
plays, it seems like, with so much confidence. Like nothing seems to bother him. He knows where he's going to go with the ball. He knows his receivers are going to be there. So I would ask you this, coach, for someone who has never seen your quarterback, Aidan Jakobsohn, play, how would you describe him to that person?
He's a field general. I mean, he's got a great grasp of what we're doing. We're only in year one of our offensive scheme right now, and he's fully bought in. His football IQ is very high. I mean, he had that before I showed up. I mean, he knows what he wants to do with the ball. Like you said, he's very confident in his decision making. He knows his arm strength. He knows where he needs to go with the ball. He's getting smarter about scrambling and getting out of bounds or sliding and protecting himself a little bit better. But he's such a diehard competitor, and so like you said, when threw that pick on the second play of the game against Rockport, we're like, well, okay, let's see how we're going to respond. But like you said, he came off the field and was just like, all right, here's what it was, and we talked about it and got past it and moved on and went down and I think scored in 2 plays on our next drive and made 2 huge throws. And he's a gamer. He knows exactly what he wants to do and does it.
Absolutely. And to me, I think when you talk about the quarterbacks in the Coastal Bend area in South Texas, he's up there, coach, with the best of them. And I've only seen 2 games, and I'm really excited about Friday and watching him play in district play. And I'm going to be there every Friday to watch him play, to be able to come back and let the people know what I'm seeing from this quarterback. But in the 2 games I've seen, he's up there with it. He's got all the tools to get a district title for the Mustangs and take it to a deep playoff run, which we hope that's what occurs here this season. But the guy that he throws it to, coach, now that's another a target and a big talent there for Ingleside, right? And that's J.C. Smith. I was there at the Raymondville game, and I know he broke the record. I think you said career receptions. That's the record.
Touchdown receptions.
Touchdown receptions. This is a kid, if you've never seen him play, he's a two-way player. So he plays the whole game. He plays defense. He plays offense. Defensively, he's an impact player. He's got the speed. If someone wants to break from the defense, and he can chase him down behind. He's got that speed. I've seen him make some incredible interceptions, just really, really high. I mean, he's just an impact player defensively, and then offensively. I mean, you just saw the 209 yards that he had against Carrizo Springs. I mean, this kid is a two-way player doing it all for you. I'd like to get your thoughts just on his performance and just the way he's played from week 1 now going into week 7.
Well, the crazy thing about JC is he puts up these gaudy stats week in and week out, but he finds a way to get better week in and week out. I don't know if I've ever been around anybody that practices as hard as he does. And I think that's why, I mean, aside from having a lot of God-given ability and an extremely high work ethic, I mean, he doesn't waste reps in anything he does. And so when he gets to a point of needing to make something happen on a Friday night, it's just another play for him. Because he's such an explosive athlete, but he treats practice the same way he does a game. And that's what makes him so dynamic. And whether he's, like you said, on offense, defense, or returning kicks for us, it doesn't matter. He gets after it 100% of the time.
Well, that's a great leader to have for your younger players, because he's a senior, right? So to see those younger players, not just on varsity, but on your junior varsity and freshman, to be out there and seeing the work ethic and then transition over to the football field. It's great to have that type of player that's also showing the younger players this is what it's going to take to be great every Friday night. So it's great to have him out there, coach. And then I'd ask you, when he broke that record against Raymondville, what was, because we plan to have him on here. We're going to invite him back on here to talk specifically about that. But what was that night like for him, for the coaches, and for his teammates?
Yeah, we all had a feeling it was going to happen. And so we had already prepared, a little statement ahead of time to be read over the PA when it did happen. And so we were very, very happy for him. And so, our team was able to celebrate that. We were able to celebrate him. And, for him too, it's just not a big deal for him, because that's just what he expects from himself. He expects to make things happen. And so I think he's very proud of it. But he is always someone who expects more too. So I think he's really going to try to push the envelope to see how far he can take it before our season comes to an end.
Boy, we're going to be there. Like I said, if you can't go to the games live and catch it there, definitely catch it on the live stream. We'll be there streaming the remainder of the Ingleside Mustang football games. And that's great, coach. And then I want to talk more now about your offense, because when I looked at the offense, you guys so far have scored 329 points, right? And we're not, and we still got a ways to go. We're barely getting in the district. So no team that you played thus far has been able to slow down this Mustang offense. So I would ask you, what's the secret?
I mean, we got a little bit of a fit out of Rio Hondo in the first half. we were our own worst enemy, but they had a good scheme for us. But then we were able to put up 40 points in the second half, so that always helps. But it's our kids wanting it more than the person across from them, and that's what we're trying to instill every day in practice, is that we've got to be the most physical team on the field. It's not always the case, but that's the goal. And just we put a huge emphasis on knowing our scheme and being diverse in how we do it, and our kids have embraced that, and they're continuing to get better at it every day. So when we are just supposed to do what we do, we can execute at a high level.
No, and it seems like, I mean, you come into a situation, right, when a first year in Ingleside and you've got this talent already set in there for you, right? So you're coming in, you've got a
No
great
doubt.
quarterback. Yeah. So, I mean, I think a coach's dream when he first comes into a school and he's already got that talent. But I
Oh,
think the
absolutely.
kids, yes, sir. And I think the kids also have bought in to what you're trying to build there, right? Because the offense might change somewhat, right? But they have bought in,
Sure.
obviously, because the two games that I've seen them play, it's just been like, wow, it's like they're not missing anything. They're just, the
Mhm.
timing is good, and it just seems like they just feel comfortable in what they're doing, and it's just great to see. Coach, I'd also like to talk now a little bit about the other levels, your junior varsity, your
Mhm.
freshman, and your middle school. And if you can just talk a little bit about kind of the season that they're having this far from the beginning to where we're at right now, mid-season.
Yeah, I mean, we're all we have not played a full freshman schedule yet. Those guys have gotten a couple games in. They're going to get another one in Alice tonight. Um, and then our JV Blue is at West Oso, and so they've believe they're sitting 500 right now. I know our junior varsity, or I'm sorry, our junior high programs are doing a really good job right now too. Because we've vertically aligned everything that we're doing, so we're installing our base offense from the seventh grade all the way up. So it's something that they're getting better at every day. They got to continue to learn, continue to get stronger, and continue to buy into what we're doing. But they're being very competitive right now. We've got a pretty good feeling about the current eighth graders that we have right now. They're doing a really good job. Have some explosive players, and numbers are high. Have a lot of good looking linemen too. And then our seventh graders are figuring it out too. We've got a couple kids that can play ball. And so when given a little bit more time and investment in this offense and defensive scheme of what we're doing, we're pretty excited about the future.
Yeah, I was at the middle school game on Tuesday there, as they took that
Mhm.
Rockport was playing them, and I got to tell you, Coach, that game was unbelievable. I was talking to some parents from Ingleside and Rockport, and boy, I tell you, some of those athletes that are there in Ingleside, Rockport took notice of those kids. Some of them I do know, but man, just a back and forth game. It was really a shame that one team had to lose because they were both putting the effort in there and they were just going back
Yeah.
and forth at it. And so you're right when you talk about the Ingleside Middle School, right? You're talking about some really really good talent, and these kids are going to be coming up here in a few years. You're going to be seeing them on Friday nights, so you got to get
Hmm.
excited about what Ingleside has, what they're doing this year, and what they got coming up in the next few years. It's going to be exciting to see. Coach, you got your first district game coming up tomorrow in Ingleside
Hmm.
against West Oso. West Oso's kind of struggling a little bit, but they always have talent out there. That's the one thing. They always have talent. If
For
you don't
sure.
come out with your A game, they can kind of sneak up on you, right? So my
Absolutely.
question to you would be, what do you have to do? What does the team have to do, the Mustangs there, to pick up that first district win versus West Oso?
Well, I mean, like it's like we tell our kids every week, as long as we execute our game plan, we're going to be all right. Like you said, there, West Oso is always going to have athletes, and that's always going to, pose a couple obstacles because they're going to have some kids that can go. But luckily, we do too, and should make for a good matchup. As long as we're again pushing our physicality, offensively and well, in all three phases of the game, we're going to be okay. We just got to make sure that we show up and execute at a very high level.
I remember when we had you on early this season, right? You talked, and one thing you said was we need to be physical. Now, I thought you
Yep.
said, we had the talent, and I think you knew we had the talent. It was, could we be
Hmm.
physical enough to win those games in the trenches, right? When you play
Right.
these teams like Sinton and Orange Grove that are going to be physical, right? I remember you
Yep.
saying, if we're physical, we're going to be in that game and give ourselves a chance to win. And boy, have you done that so far in the non-district.
Yeah.
So Ingleside goes into this game tomorrow night undefeated. As I said, they have over 300 points. This offense is rolling. The defense, we didn't talk much about this week, but we will get to that next week on the podcast. But both offense, defense, special teams, it's all happening right now for Ingleside. So come on out to Mustang Stadium tomorrow night. Game time, coach, is at 7:30.
Yes, sir.
It's 7:30. First district game, come out, support the Mustangs. But if you can't make the game for whatever reason, support the Mustangs through the live stream. You can catch it on the Gridiron 64 Sports Network Facebook page. I'll be there. I'll be commentating the game, and we'll be going live. So please tune into the live stream if you cannot make the game. But it's going to be a good one. Hopefully the Mustangs will walk away after the game 1-0 in district and still undefeated. Coach, I will give you the final thought here. Anything you'd want to add before we let you go?
No, just appreciate the time and appreciate y'all giving us the coverage. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad that we were able to do that. Again, we'll be there. And Coach Chrisman can come on. He'll be on next week, next Thursday. We'll be right back here. And you can catch this podcast. It'll be uploaded to the Gridiron 64 YouTube channel on Friday morning. So you can catch it there. Until then, Coach, thank you very much. Good luck. And I'll be out there in Ingleside tomorrow to live stream the game.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty.